our design calls for a paved area. We may use some bitumen paving here with some striated patterns through it, which we're going to reflect up on the screen there and then up onto a wooden platform. So to get the construction lines that constitute the edges of what will be this bitumen paved area, we can label those same construction lines. So there's a red line there and a red line over here, and that enables me to put this little rectangle into position there, which represents that paved area. And similarly, I used a cyan line on either side of the wooden structure to locate it. So you can see that the section is taking place. I move the screen up, vertically up, because it's going to sit on top of the platform there. I might well decide to explode that rectangle and drag it across. So let's do that. We can explode. And now when we pick it, we should be able to move that one perpendicular to the red line and move this one perpendicular to that same red line, and we'll escape from there. Now we have our platform that our screen is going to sit on. We could select it and fill it. I think filled, yes, and there it is, filled. So our platform, our profile is taking shape, or a cross section, if you like, is taking shape. All we now have to do is to put our plant symbols in, and for that we need to go to Library and Designs, no details, no plants, Standard. I think we've got some elevation symbols. So here we are. We can scroll through here and find some elevation symbols, and there clearly are some in there that is going to work. Well, what I've done is go to the elevation library, and I'll just zoom in a little, and I've found a profile that might well fit this particular plant. As we come across here, we really don't need too much other than we'll pick up 1, 2, 3, 4 of the same species. So this little symbol over here might well work for that. So having picked our symbols, it's now just a matter of dragging them down into position. And because we've got guidelines, it's fairly easy to put those symbols into their correct space. Just line them up like so. In this case, we can copy that one. Whoops, both are selected, so we can copy that to give our next one and our next one and our next plant. And really all we then need to do is we'll select that bitumenized paved area, we'll fill it. So yes, we'll fill it, and we'll go to Tools and we'll send it to the back, Draw Order, Send to the back. And that's now done. So there's our section taking place. We have a little fence that is to go along here, a little narrow fence that can be done with another rectangle, and we'll pick up and find that intersection. I think we can just arbitrarily draw that fence up and again select the rectangle and fill it, and we are done. So there's a section. If we can find some furniture, a table and some chairs in profile, we'll pop them into this position, but I'm not sure that I have those at the moment. We may have to draw those up ourselves. So I hope that gives you some idea of the way in which the section work can be done. What I'll now do is throw these section lines. I could erase them, but I may need them later. So I'll throw them onto a different layer and turn them off. Well, I've put some text on the section drawing using the leader command, and I think at this stage it's a relatively good idea to have a quick look on a layout sheet to see what our drawing will look like. You can see I've put a few little striations in there to try and indicate that we've got a slatted arrangement there. I'm not terribly happy with it, but we'll see how we go on a layout space. So here we are. Our timber screen shows. I think that those striations are heavy, and I'll need to change the colour of those. But I'm relatively happy that on a layout sheet that floating viewport holds a section view, which we've created relatively easily. I can now use my text in layout space to put a label section A1. I'd put in relatively large text under here, probably use a different font to the one that I've used for the text in the leader lines. So I hope you can see that creating a section view in a gCADPlus drawing is relatively straightforward. It's not fully automatic because we don't have a three-dimensional model here, but you can generate your section views and of course use exactly the same technique when you are doing elevation views. And for example, if I was doing an elevation looking from this direction, I could use a symbol like this one to, let's move it now into position. If this was an elevation, we'd clearly have a tree sitting in that position there. So you should be able to do elevation views in exactly the same way. In fact, building on this section view, you could just copy it down and tweak it slightly.